Then there's the night, too. Lying there and thinking about all the stupid things I've done during the day, and all those hours in between when I do all those stupid things.
On the other hand, it's very hard to breathe in here. She's not looking at me. I wonder why she never looks at me.
Oh well, another lunch hour over with. Only 2,863 to go.
They were mine first.
I really don't care that much about it.
Why? Give it to me then. I'll trade you straight up.
Oh man.
You can have Betsy.
I want to fuck you over.
It's a good car.
Yeah, it is.
Reliable. Get you anywhere. Straight up trade.
Let me think about it.
I'm still alive. Better than the alternative, I suppose. It just gets old, you know, being the same person all the time. And every time I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to evolve. I'm ready to be somebody else. The process is so long, and it's inevitably pointless because all that work gets undone the moment something bad happens. It's like I self-destruct, and I can't unbreak myself. It's like I'm just forever. I did drive to the junkyard earlier. Well, I wasn't driving to the junkyard, I was just driving and past it. And every time I do, I am struck by the thought of all the skeletons in the park. Like every single one of those cars has to have such a long and storied history. I see them and I wish I knew. And the same thing happens when I go to a cemetery. Like I don't know why it's not a thing that when somebody dies, the family of the deceased can pay somebody to write like a little life story that, you know, you could then like put on the tombstone somehow. Like nowadays, maybe just like a code that you could scan with your phone and then you can learn about that person. Like, why is that not a thing? I get the same kind of feeling, almost worse in a way, when I am in a junkyard or near one, because you just wonder where all those cars went. Who owned them? Where did they go? Where did it take them? My own car is reaching oblivion really quick. Things just keep breaking on it randomly. There's dents and rust, and the engine does this weird sputtering noise all the time. I know that it's headed to its own cemetery. And I think about all the right places that it's taken me. I think about all the wrong places that it's taken me, and all the places in between. I think about the long trips out west, or out east, or down south. Literally hundreds of thousands of miles that I've put on that thing in the time that I've owned it. And it kind of seems like everything is getting to that point in my life right now. All of my equipment is getting old, all of my stuff is breaking, my cameras are getting old, my car's dying. It's like I'm stuck in this fucking loop, you know? feel like there's still more stories to be written. And I also hate that I view life like that. I don't want to be a tourist in existence, and I feel like I am in a weird way. Like, I'm always about the story. Even if I know something is a bad idea, I'll do it 9 times out of 10 just because it's an interesting experience. And at the very least, at least I'll have something to write about, which I never actually do, by the way.
No, these were like brand new, and he never got to wear them because Jake's like turning into a monster. He's like, I don't know what they're feeding this kid, but he's so tall. I don't know now if I look at him and it's Cody or Dakota. It could be either, because he's gotten so big. Anyways, he had a growth spurt, so
anyway,
lucky
can't wear
me.
these. Now
Lucky
I have
me.
And it looks good.
Put your foot in
I can't wait till Jake watches this video. He's gonna be like, I'm a monster.
a monster in like the best way. Like, this kid's a monster. Like,
1 in 15.
okay, wait, let me think.
3, 2, 1. 13.
Ah!
I was gonna say 11.
Damn it! I graduated in 13. I should have went there.
Shades on.
He's got so much dirt on me, it's ridiculous.
He got me ranting and raving about drugs with a bunch of cops in the
He's got
park.
balloons and everything. It's giant.
That a boy, that a girl. Teamwork makes the dream work. What are you doing today?
You're looking at it, man.
That was his night out at the bar.
So you done working?
Yes.
Sugar. The other one. Fuck.
You work like a good boy.
I make my own work. I make my own work schedule. 'Cause I'm the boss.
I'll have so much time for you.
Yeah, I'm usually off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. But Sunday's fun day. So we're going to barbecues and getting drunk. But if you go swimming, you have to be topless. That's the rules at the pool. It ain't my pool, but I like those rules.
Something strange I've noticed about myself. In the morning, when I am the most alone, that's when I feel the least lonely. It's the evenings. Not exactly when I'm actually around people. And I'm the least lonely. Because you get to a point there where things start to feel normal. But that little space in between being in and going out. That's the sweet spot.
That's all it does. It doesn't do pictures.
Why?
Because it's a video camera.
You spent that much money on something that doesn't even take a fucking picture?
I don't need... I got a picture camera, you dumb trick.
I hate you, dumb idiot.
That's a good picture.
I really think that I need a vacation. I need to just go somewhere. I'm 6 days into this project and it's already become like a monumental pain in my ass. I find it really hard to have any kind of consistency at all with anything. Like something seems like a really good idea for a minute, and then once I commit to it, it suddenly doesn't seem that way anymore. I'm not really sure what to do with myself today. Probably the same thing I did yesterday and the day before that, the day before that. This project's gonna seem less intense when we get to the double digits. I can be like, okay, I've made it this far. But believe it or not, I'm getting sick of carrying this camera around with me all the time. I feel like a weirdo. I feel like that kid that I was in high school back before everybody had a smartphone in their pocket. I used to keep a little point-and-shoot camera in mine, and my peers at the time thought that I was the weirdest human being. I thought because of that, but maybe they just thought I was weird in general because I'm fucking strange. But yeah, I need to get away from everything for a minute. Just to, clear my head. I was in a relationship for 5 years, and when that relationship ended, I made an impulsive decision to go to Colorado, and that kind of changed my entire existence. I had this watershed moment when I was there, and it led me to something else, which led me to something else, which eventually brought me to this place, which isn't a great place, but it's a place. And I had a whole bunch of really great and really awful experiences to get me to this point. But I'm here, and it all started with that trip to Colorado. I'm dying for a watershed moment. I'm dying for something to make sense. I don't think I'm going to get it here. Not right now, anyway. Maybe I'm not going to have it anywhere if I try to force the issue, because I wasn't trying to force it then. Like, maybe that's just one of those things that has to happen organically. I don't know. But I could really use one.
I am breathing in the light of moon. She was taken from my arms too soon. I am holding into every breath. I am trying to make this feeling last. If I could choose a point in time, put my whole life in rewind. When I was yours and you had just arrived. When I was yours and you had just arrived.
Fuck yeah! Let's go! Get the fuck out! Fuck out!
No.
Take it.
I'll buy you a beer.
Take it. It's yours. You don't even gotta buy me a beer. Dude, you're doing vertical video right now.
Is that bad?
Yes.
That's a no-no.
That is a fucking no-no. But it's not really, because I know someone got beat the shit out of down there.
No, we don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
No, I don't either. I don't like it. But that's what happened. I know for a fact that's what happened.
Can I have a drag?
What is going on? Where are they at?
Paige likes my sweet nerd glasses.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But it's got like an allspice, but at the beginning of it you can taste a little bit of coffee and a little bit of chocolate.
Tastes like a cigar.
Pretty much.
You don't taste the pepper at the very end? It tastes good, actually. It's kind of making me hungry.
Ew, we don't want to sit next to you.
Yeah.
You smell.
Oh, man.
He probably does.
I like the prescription in them. I can see good in them. They were my safety glasses from work. I just pulled the side shields.
Cake face. Cute. Yep, that'll go on the story as high-class white trash. A dab will do ya. Every day, yay, lemonade. He sent me a still from it, and it's literally the funniest thing I've ever seen.
We never did sing happy birthday to Liam.
No, I was going to, and she said...
No candles.
She's mad because she reserved that room.
That room?
Hey, look how much people litter in this. And there are so many trash down there. I picked it up. But this looks like anything. It's not. I know. But they're setting stuff up right now, too.
I have an idea to do a photo shoot with bubbles. I want it to be like low-class white trash. Last year, I had this idea to duct tape my flashes to tripods because I don't have stands and I don't want to buy any because they are ridiculously expensive. Eventually, I had to take them off, but I figured, what better shoot to do this again than this one? So, okay, how do I want to mount this? I'm not sure how to mount this, actually. I guess if I do it like that, that could work. Well, if you can't duck it, fuck it. Oh! Shit. Well, this is already proven to be difficult. My flash kind of looks like Mother Teresa. Okay, well, this'll work. The last thing I need to do is assemble the bubble maker. We've achieved bubbles. Cool. Well, shit. What's happening right now?
We'll tell you when you're older. What is it? That time where they're like, why is Ariel brushing her hair with a fork? And it's like, it's a jingle hopper! Unintelligent swine! Uncultured swine! Wait, like how? With her head back, straight up the chest. Like on her. Bring her in. Oh, okay, got it. Got it. Like this. Like it was before you. What about the bubble machine? It's in my ear! I'm getting slapped! Right! That's straight up in my face! I'm feeling oisty!
There's not going to be a bunch of pretty shots for today's vlog because I am drowning in work. I wanted today's vlog to be a test of my new lavalier microphone.
But instead of doing that, I have to work. So I figured I'd just talk to a camera for a second and test it out that way. So I had this conversation once with a woman at the bar, and she was very inebriated, but she said something that kind of stuck with me. It made me realize the state of my own mind and heart, I guess. Because she just kept telling everybody that she loved them. And it wasn't like the typical drunk person thing where they're just like, oh, I love you, and it just feels really disingenuous. No, like she was saying it to total strangers, and I believed it. Like she had a conviction in her voice that I felt like, you know, was genuine. And she said, if love were a liquid, I would be a running tap that was just infinite, that just poured forever. I'm just so full of love. I love everything God put on this planet. I love all the animals. I love all the people. I think people are inherently good, and I trust them. And I trust the universe has put me in a good place. I was really jealous of that. Because I don't believe that the universe puts anything anywhere for any reason. I think everything is just chaos, and you happen to meet people as you do, and your fate isn't written. There's no karma, there's no retribution for shitty things that you do. It's just luck of the draw. And if love were a liquid that were housed in something, I would be a cup. Not even a very large cup. Just a small glass. And I have to be so fucking careful about who I choose to give that love to. It's so hard for me to refill the glass. It's like it's sitting under a sink that just drops. Just little tiny drops. And I'm a really all or nothing kind of guy, so if I shell it out, I shell every last drop that I can possibly muster. And if I'm not careful, I get left with this empty glass, and sometimes it can take years to refill. It has taken years before to refill. I spent the entire duration of my early 20s trying to refill the goddamn glass. So, you know, I sat there and I watched and was envious. Because this human being just seemed like limitless in her capacity to care. And I wish I had that. I have very limited means in almost every single aspect of my life. Limited ability to love, limited ability to care, limited ability to go anywhere, you know, due to finances or whatever. Like everything is limited. And you know, I suppose that might be why I've been on kind of a drinking kick lately, because well, for one, it's a way to mask my what I perceive to be extreme social anxiety and awkwardness, how I feel alien, because I do. but in another way, it allows me to feel like the cup is less empty than it is. Because the drinks are limitless. And that's something. Parliaments, please, yeah. Thank you.
I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game. I don't know the people in your picture frame. If I ever loved you, oh, no, no. It's a crying shame if I ever loved you. If I knew your name, you don't need a lawyer. I'm not making a claim. You don't need to surrender. I'm not taking aim. I don't need a lover, no, no, no. The wretched beast is tame. I don't need a lover. So blow out the flame. There's nobody missing. There is no reward. Little by little, we're cutting the cord. We're spending the treasure. Oh, no, no, that love cannot afford. I know you can feel it. The sweetness restored. I don't need a reason for what I became. I've got these excuses. They're tired and lame. I don't need a pardon. No, 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 no. There's no one left to blame. I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game. I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game.
Let me in. If not, I'll wait here. What fears me most keeps my heart near. So peek your head from beyond the curtain. The sky will stretch as far as you let it. And I want you to know, and I need you to know, I love you so much more each morning.
No, just taste it. Try it. What is it? It's what you ordered. So fuck you, dude. Put it in it. That's all you, bro.
If you won't fucking take a sip out of it, then why are you fucking?
I did not do anything else.
Why'd you come over here smiling?
Don't you have a knife in your heart where love left you? Don't you see the young girls walking down the sidewalks with the knives in their purses? Is that all you see, those grass blades? Is that all you hear, the turning of the mower? I can see the young girls sharpening their knives in the morning and at noon and at night, and especially at night. Oh, especially at night.
I have lots of trouble with my women, you know. They read my poetry and I read all these profundities. Oh, well, call them that. Then, you know, you get in bed with them, you talk with them, you live with them for 4 or 5 days. And they're waiting for you to say these grand statements, you know. You march across the room and you're supposed to say, "Death has 12 wings like the angel of hell." But people aren't built that way. You say, "Hey, baby, why don't you make me a cup of coffee?" Well, that's not very poetic. They don't understand that. They read your poetry and they expect you to go marching around with flames coming out of your ass and your ears, making all these statements. Well, human nature's not like that. Because you save your balls and your juice for that typewriter.
It's the small victories, like doing laundry and finding money in the front pocket. Makes the big defeats more palatable, makes the devils shrink. Stuff like that. It keeps you going. People are full of good advice that I'm consistently incapable of taking. They say things like, maybe if your content was less depressing, people would watch it more. And I think, yeah, you're probably right, but I'm a depressive person and that's what comes out. Even this video, where my intention is to talk about the good things, it still comes off as inherently bleak because I'm the one putting it together. What do you do with that? Fake it? That's what I'm trying to do here. They say things like, maybe if you quit smoking cigarettes, you'd feel better. And I think, yeah, you're probably right, but I enjoy it. And the real messed up thing about it is, I crave a cigarette the most when someone suggests I cut back. Why does my brain do that? I don't understand it. They say things like, maybe if you didn't drink, you could learn to give a shit again and then rebuild yourself from the ground up. And I think, yeah, you're probably right. Actually, no, you aren't right at all. Do you want to know how many versions of myself I've been? How many jobs I've went through? Women, diets, lifestyles? And for what? Eventually I returned to the nil. To this place. Right back where I started. So what's the point of it? Maybe this is just what I am. Maybe everything else was bullshit. Probably was. Had to be. But the small victories are good. That $10 was more than $10 because it prompted this video, which wouldn't have happened had I not found it in the first place, which is a small victory in itself. And it's the small victories that keep you going. It makes the big defeats more palatable. Makes the devils shrink. Stuff like that. 2 weeks into this thing, 2 more to go. Wish me luck. So, I've been in Burlington since 4 o'clock this morning. I'm doing a documentary style short for a boating company. So I've just been in my car all day. I have my phone there and I've been laying on my camera bag. And that's about it, really. Today's vlog's gonna be strange. I realize that today is a bit of a cop-out, but I spent 13 and a half hours on a video shoot today. I didn't have a whole lot of time to vlog, so what can you do? What can you do? This is all I got. Sorry. I mean, I filmed a whole bunch of stuff today. I can't use any of it because I was hired for it. The clips you saw aren't going to be clips I put in the thing, so I feel comfortable putting them in, but tomorrow's will be longer. That's what she said. Sometimes I get this sudden urge to just start a project out of nowhere, even when I don't feel like it's something that I could do anything with necessarily, and today that kind of happened. I noticed a sign at Goodwill that said that books were half off, and I thought I could spend 44 cents for a book, and I could do some blackout poetry. If you don't know what blackout poetry is, basically you find a book, you randomly rip a page out, and then you take a Sharpie and create a new poem from the words on the page. I've been doing it for a long time, and this is a project I've considered for a while, but haven't really done anything with, and I thought that today was the day. So I went to Walmart and I got a big sketchbook, and I came home and I just started going at it. Again, I'm not entirely sure what to do with any of it, but it's fun, so I'm gonna keep it going. I couldn't see the point. A little face that hung without effort as if it were an infant without anyone's help. He came around at anxious attention with his hand on the waiting black. He found himself at ease from a distance of several feet. He oughtn't to have been bred, but had, the chest bony and weak, for some time at least. You know, I never actually used this thing. Sometimes I just do things to see if I can do them, even though I don't really particularly need or want the result. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when you have a headspace like I do, and philosophies like I do, it's led to some of the worst experiences of my life, but it's also led to a few of the best, so you take the bad with the good, I guess. I've been thinking about this lately because there's this repeating conversation that I have with somebody, and their worldview is so much more brightly lit than mine. They believe in fate and destiny and that everything happens for a reason, stuff that I find philosophically confusing and relatively dishonest intellectually. And she always says, "You really don't think that there's a reason for anything?" Nope. Sure don't. And telling stories about how they did this thing and this thing and this thing which led to this thing, and who knows, because they did this, maybe they narrowly averted death somehow over here, even though there's no way to quantify that. No, I wish I believed like that. I do. I wish that everything in existence had a purpose. I wish that we weren't all just on this floating rock arbitrarily and doing things because it's in our nature to do them. I'm not even entirely sure I believe in free will. And that's a scary concept if you really think about it. What I mean by that is, I'm not sure that every decision I've ever made hasn't been the result of some battle of neurons in my head, and the stronger impulse has just won every single time. Even when I decide not to do something over something I really want to do, it's still because the impulse was stronger to not do it in my brain. If I examine things too critically, then there is nothing. It's like, if you ever just repeat a word over and over and over and over again, and then eventually the word has no value, it has no meaning. Like, that's what happens if I look at existence too hard. If I start going inside of, what am I? Who am I? Who are you? What is this? Everything turns gray. And in a way, that does mean we're all interconnected, because if the soul is an illusion, which I'm not uncertain that it's not, that our brain just plays these tricks on us, and that because I like mashed potatoes and I don't like mushrooms, that makes me me. Because I enjoy this song and I don't like this song, that makes me different from you because you like this one and dislike this one. We're different. And you are you because of those things, and I am me because I'm mine. I'm mine because in the 3rd grade I got pushed into a pool and I've been terrified of being underwater ever since. Stuff like that. When in reality, I'm not uncertain that those are just periphery. And I struggle with that because when things don't have an inherent value, when you realize that everything that you cherish, everything that matters to you is just a product of your own biology, then nothing seems to. You just wander aimlessly and bump into success, or even if you try really fucking hard, Even if you bust your ass, it's still just luck of the draw. You knew this person, who knew this person, or some bullshit like that. Talent is such a small piece of the pie. So I do things just to do them. Because why not? Well, that sucked. I don't even know what happened. You're getting a little too close for me, bud. I'll pick that up. I don't have fun with this thing. This thing is a giant ball of stress for me. I love it to death. You get awesome shots with it. Why just stay put? It was a whole mess though. I'm having a real hard time concentrating with this thing flying. I feel like maybe I should land it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna land it. So, where was I? So yeah, I went to land this yesterday, and there's like this incline in the parking lot, and it hit the incline, and then the wind took it. And next thing I know, car hits it head on. This thing is a personification. It is a manifestation, actually, of stress. I have never once had fun with this drone. It's always stressful, 100% of the time. It's cool to get a bird's eye view. Yeah, I like that. It's fun. And it looks badass, you know, even though the newer ones are way cooler, I think. But I'm always worried about that exact thing that happening. And it did. You know, I've hit trees. The first time I ever flew it, I landed it on an island and had to walk across water to get it. But I've never hit a car. And that's only like a part of the pie. You know, what I'm really worried about is losing signal and it falling and hurting somebody. I don't like this thing. I mean, I do, but I don't too. That's all.
So now it doesn't count, huh?
Slide it over. Get it on the season place.
It's hot. And it finally happened. It took 19 days, but it finally happened. I don't have anything to make a video about. You know that really bad Meghan Trainor song? I think that's who it is. That, you must have confused me. Someone else.
I woke up this morning and that shit was lodged in my brain. I have no idea how it got there. I have no idea who played it or when they played it, but somebody did. It's been stuck in my head and I can't think beyond it because every time I get on a trail of thought, I can hear Meghan Trainor creeping on up. Someone else, someone else, someone else. I get out of my head. My first idea for the day was, let's make a video about dead people. Specifically people that were once in my life and now aren't because they died. And then I thought, that's a little macabre. Then I thought I could do something else with bubbles. I've already done like 3 videos with bubbles in them. So that's gonna be a no. Someone else must have confused me if it is. Maybe I could make a video about the conflict between feeling like a hopeless romantic and also being incredibly jaded about romance and love. But who the fuck wants to hear about that? I sure as shit don't want to talk about it. I don't know what to make a video about. So instead, I'm doing that thing that people do where they make a video about not being able to make a video. I don't know who Meghan Trainor is. Don't know her as a person, but I know I don't fucking like her. Your mama raised you better than this. Ooh. My town does this thing every year called the Back Alley Band Fest, where a bunch of bands from the area play in various alleyways and garages and stuff, and you can just walk down the town and check them all out. It's one of those things that makes this place unique. So I know what tomorrow's video is going to be about. I have that on lock. But today is a different story. I'm proud of myself in a way that it took me this long to get a block. You know, I've been able to consistently put stuff out now for over 2 weeks. That's good. Get out of my head, Meghan Trainor. Get out.
Cody, whatever, how we doing, brother?
Hey! Day 20.
Day 20.
I played at Milwaukee, I was the best. Ask her, I'm a bearded, so I got somebody fucking crazy. Here they are.
That's our fault, you know. Fuck us.
That's a true story.
Hello, Cody's camera. Nice seeing you again.
Supposed to be some miracle fixing my stuff.
Usually if something says it's miraculous, it's usually bullshit.
Well, not always.
Freaking job, you guys are working. We want another one? You nuts?
I'm not the one. You're the one. Talking about.
Oh, whatever. I only get 35 pictures a day every night at work.
Because I know you like them. This is the best looking asparagus I've seen this year. It is. Look at this.
That's some pretty asparagus.
It is pretty asparagus.
Full pack on grilling.
Hello everybody. So for today's vlog, I'm going to start it with an admission, and it's an admission of guilt. I've only been telling halfway truths for a long time about something, and it's with a deep sense of shame that I have to admit I am not all the way from Iowa. I am. My mom lives in Iowa. My grandparents live in Iowa. I spent a lot of time in Iowa as a kid, but how do I say this? Part of me is from Illinois. That house behind me is where I grew up. It might look familiar to you if you're a fan of Ren, because when my dad moved out of it, I used it for the album cover of Nostalgia, which is one of my albums. Link in the description, by the way, if you want to grab that. So it looks different now. They did a lot of work to it. Back when I lived there, it was a white house with green shutters. Now it is a brown house with brown shutters. But this was my neighborhood. This is where I did all of my childhood things. I'm gonna take you on a little adventure through the childhood of me. It's kind of weird. It's weird to be here. I spent a lot of time there. The first time I ever fell in love was in that house. The first time I ever had my heart broken was in that house. First, I learned to ride a bike there. It's weird. It was kind of cool to grow up here because my house was prime real estate right across the street from the football field, which was cool because I didn't have to do anything for games and stuff, and then, you know, all all the town's kids would always end up at my house. I'm having a hard time like talking about it, I find, because I spent so much time here, and then in 2010, in like the span of just like a month or so, my grandmother died, and then my dad lost the house. And I haven't really been over here since, you know, short of a couple photo shoots here and there. And all of my really, really terrible experiences in life, all of them happened in this town. And I think that's why I had such a sense of shame about technically being from Illinois. And then I started doing the Forgotten Iowa thing. And in one of the reports that someone did on me, they just said I was from Iowa. And I just kind of went with it. Because technically, I kind of am. My mom's lived over there forever, for like 20 years now. My grandparents lived there. I spent a lot of my time in Iowa. So it was only a halfway lie. But it was a lie, technically. So I'm clearing the air. I'm trying to get over my shame about being from Illinois. Ah, fuck, it's hot. I chose to do this on a day where it's like 132 degrees outside or something like that. This is where I went to elementary school, and it's where I sealed my fate for being A, socially awkward as hell, and B, a outcast, a pariah. I'll get to that word in a minute. My very first day of school here, I felt so abandoned by my mother. She dropped me off for school, and we had this big cargo van, and I was bawling. I didn't want to be around these kids. I just wanted to hang out with my mom, and I felt like she was just leaving me to the wolves, literally. So she had to go get the principal, a bunch of teachers, and I'm running around the van trying to, like, I'm begging my mom, like, why are you doing this to me? I promise I'll be good. I promise. She says it was like the first time I ever broke her heart was that morning. And that was just the beginning of the iceberg of that day, because I went to school. I remember feeling very weird. There was this auditorium where all the kids had to sit, and I'm just sitting there all shy and quiet, hoping no one would talk to me. Nobody did, by the way. And then it got time for recess, and I was having a bad day. And we get put into two groups for a soccer game. And it turns out I'm really good at soccer, or I was at one time very good at soccer. And I was doing really good, and the kids were talking to me, and I was making friends. And I remember I kicked the ball out from this little kid's legs, and I'm running toward the goal, really excited. And I don't hear that these people are screaming at me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No. And I kicked the thing, and it was like a perfect shot. I remember it so vividly, like the wind took it, it went to the right, and then arched to the left real fast. Goal. And I put my arms up, and I'm like, I did it, guys. I'm the cool kid in school. And then everyone's like, you jackass, you scored a goal on your own net. And from that day forward, I was an outcast. I mean that. Like, I barely had any friends at all from the age of 0 till middle school. And it all started here in this building. Fuck this place, by the way. While we're on the topic of school, this is where I went to middle school and high school. They're the same building, one is attached to the other. And this is where I really began to hate my formal education. I begged my parents at this point for years, like, please let me go to Keokuk school. Please let me go to Keokuk school. They let my sister go to Keokuk school, but for some reason, my dad especially was like, you are not going to Keokuk. Over my dead body, you are not going to Keokuk. So what happened is I ended up having to go here, where there was literally nothing for me. Nothing interested me. There was 2 extracurricular classes. You could do general arts or you could do band. I did band until I was kicked out of band. I'm gonna tell that story. That's the story I'm gonna tell. We're doing our formations, you know, you're going bop, bop, balop, balop. I remember the cadence like it's forever stuck in my head. I remember exactly what it was. And I am high sticking like a motherfucker. Like, I'm sweating my ass off and just like pop, 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 pop. And all stick snaps in half. And it spins in the air like this. Stabs my band director right in the face. Right in the face. He ran up to me with like the fury of hell, grabbed my snare drum, and tossed it across the field and said, "Get the hell out of here. You're done." Ended up getting suspended for this, which was a total accident. I got suspended. He swore to the principal up and down, even though the rest of the drummers vouched for me that it was just a break. Told the principal that I snapped the stick over my leg and threw it at his face. Never happened. So I got kicked out of band. Couldn't do general arts because I was already signed up for band. So for the rest of the year, I just had to sit in the study hall. And that was the year where everything kind of broke. Like, I was already breaking, but that's the year that everything broke for me. The other big thing that happened in the school is after Columbine happened, there was literally one student that got called into the guidance counselor's office to talk about their problems. You know, do you feel aggression toward any of these kids? And I was so naive at the time. I was like, yeah, I feel aggression towards these kids. These kids suck. I hate all of them. And like, oh, really? Well, you know about the Columbine incident, right? Like, they singled me out. I was the only one. I'd never even shot a gun in my life. But anyway, so fuck this place. Fuck it to hell. Anyone that has to go here, I am so sorry for. This was prison. This was a literal prison. But I will give a shout out to Mrs. Dione, who was the only teacher that ever gave a shit. Only teacher in my whole high school experience that cared. She used to set up big group projects. She was my English teacher, and she would set up projects where, you know, you could make a movie or something, which was stuff that I did back in the day. The whole Saturnine Films thing, my channel name for the longest time, started because I had a film group with my friends and we called it Saturnine Films. So this used to be the Lamport Funeral Home, and it is where I received my first kiss ever from a girl. Don't want to say her name. I'll give her first name because it's common. Ashley. That was her name. It's kind of a cute story. I lived down there. She lived down there. Her parents didn't like me, but she did. And I think it made her like me more. And we decided to meet here one night. Like, we were both going to sneak out and we were going to meet here because it was a good middle place between my house and her house. So we did. And when the night ended, I turned around and she just planted one on me. And it was really sweet, really saccharine at the funeral home, which is, that's an interesting place to receive your first kiss, especially because I later found out that when my parents conceived me, it happened in a cemetery. Filming. This was the street where we met on. I think we technically met up right there and then kind of waltzed over to the tree back there. You know, the way that relationship ended wasn't with a whimper, but with a bang, because she was a new kid in school. She was very cute, had these piercing blue eyes and this long blonde hair, and naturally she was pined after by a lot of the other neighborhood boys. And there was a Valentine's Day dance, and I remember spending the whole day getting ready. I went and I got frosted tips in my hair because that was a thing when I was a kid. I got a really nice sweater. I got, khakis. Like, I was feeling real good about myself. And I go and I pick her up, and there's another boy at the house. I'm like, oh, this is weird. She ended up leaving with me still, but then later on that night at the dance, I look over, and the boy that was at her house, she's making out with, like, obnoxiously so. And my response to that was to pick up a chair and throw it at him when the dance was over. I got kicked out of the dance, and that was the end of that. All of my stories are not happy. I think this is why I have shame about being from this place, is I'm trying to think of like happy stories when I go down here, and I'm always like,
you're really not thinking about them though.
No, I am. You have no idea. Like, I could tell happy stories too.
Okay, so what's the happiest moment here in Hamilton?
My happiest Hamilton moment?
Happiest Hamilton moment.
My happiest Hamilton moment was probably when I was 19 years old, and I was pining after this girl real hard for a long time. Like, I wanted her so bad, but she was in a relationship, I was in a relationship. We both broke up with our significant others, and I convinced her to come spend the night at my house. And we ended up having like this huge romantic thing over the course of that summer. And that summer was probably like the happiest Hamilton moment. But that's the thing I'm saying, is like that was a happy story, but it gets so not happy after a while. Like every happy story I have becomes not happy at some juncture. That's the laundromat. We used to come up here to get sodas or to push each other in the shopping carts, laundry carts or whatever. Or, you know, there was times where we'd shove each other in the dryers and then turn them on and try to get them to... We broke so many dryers. But yeah, so the thing that am I overexposed? It's starting to become evident to me why I carry the shame that I do about being from here, technically speaking, because all of my good memories happened in Iowa, for the most part. You know, I don't have any negative memories associated with being at my grandmother's house when I was a kid. I don't have any negative memories about all the friendships that I had, because they were all in Keokuk. Everything I did here came with a sense of, where the hell am I? I wasn't going anywhere or doing anything. And I watched all these people that I couldn't stand leave. And then it was like they all left, and then it was just me. I feel like I was the last person of my peer group to actually get the hell out of here. I remember when I decided to go, where I went was Chicago. I randomly got on an Amtrak and just went to Chicago. And I remember taking photos of myself piecing out of every single room in that house. And I promised myself I will never, ever live in this house again. Buy living room, buy bedroom. It was like this big triumphant thing. I didn't realize how true that was, but it was against my own will that it happened, because by the time I was done with Chicago, my dad was losing his house. And one thing that has always bothered me is when my dad lost his house, he never told me how close he was to losing it. All of my possessions were still in the house when it was foreclosed on, which means I lost everything. I lost all my childhood journals, I lost all my clothes, all the little nostalgic knickknacks I had, I lost all of them. And I just had to start fresh, you know? I had to start over with nothing.
Enough for you?
That should do it.
862.
Man, they're expensive over here.
Yep.
Fucking $9. So I thought I would conclude this weird little video here with oh, I wish I could swim. Special thanks to Selena for helping me shoot this. Thank you. Every day, Amber Alert, every day. Okay, so now that we're coming to the end of this 30-day, 30 vlog thing, I'm trying to think, what's the next thing that I want to do? I kind of want to do this all summer, where I do 30 days of something. Tackled the video, what's next? And I know, you might be thinking, why do you do this to yourself? You're gonna get burnt out, and I will get burnt out. I'm burnt as hell on these vlogs, for sure, burnt. But it's also been really beneficial for me. Like, it's kept me out of my own head. It's like I'm maintaining like at least a grasp of sanity. Whereas before I started doing this, I really felt like I was slipping into something really dark. I might still be slipping in that direction, I'm not entirely sure, but I know I've slowed the pace a little bit. Every day, instead of being in my own head thinking about how miserable I am and how awful life is and how I can't find the good in anything and everything's gray, blah, 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 you know, the whole depression cliche, I'm forced to be productive with it. I'm forced to put my efforts into something, and when you work hard enough, when you get involved into something deep enough, you don't have time to think about your own despair. I know that sounds like overly dramatic, but that's the most accurate word I can think of. So the options right now are, I could do 30 days of photography, or every day I do a photo shoot. That would probably be the easiest one to do, 30 days of photos. I could do 30 days of writing, which would be a little more difficult because sometimes my writing just sucks. Doesn't matter how much I do it. Sometimes it just doesn't click. Writing's one of those things where it just has to click, and if it doesn't, you might as well just not even do it. But you have to do it to get to the, it's like you get 10 shitty pieces for every one good one. So 30 days of writing might mean I end up writing 10 pieces a day to get to that one that I like. The hardest one would be to do 30 days of music where I try to write a song every day, because writing music takes me a long time. It's never been something, like all my favorite songs I've written really quickly, but most of the time it doesn't happen that way. Like this song, took me about a week. This one, took me almost 2. So if I really want a challenge, I could do that. I just don't know if I'm capable of it. So that's why I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you think? What should be my next 30 days of? Should it be photography? Should it be writing? Or should it be music? I'm gonna try to do all 3 over the course of the next 90 days, but which one should I do first? It's miserably hot in our house right now. There's no air conditioning. It's making me very sluggish. It's making it very hard to get anything done that I need to do. So this is my vlog for today, because it's all I got. I don't have anything else, I'm sorry. Maybe tomorrow's will be more involved. Yesterday's was insanely involved, so, just talking to a camera for a second can be okay. Just sitting stationary, not a bunch of pretty shots or anything like that. It's just mano-y-mano. Like back in the day. Does anyone remember that when, that era of YouTube? I miss it. Anyway, I'm rambling, so see you tomorrow, day 23.
Sometimes I wonder if I've finally fallen out of love with this, because for the longest time now, I only seem to take photos when I'm getting paid to do it. I used to carry it everywhere. It helped me to get through some really difficult times, back when I didn't think I was capable of getting over them because the feelings ran so high and so fervently, but I eventually did. And you want to know something that I know now that I wish I could have known then? Numbing out is far worse. I don't know how to explain it, but nothing really seems worth it to me anymore. I ask myself, is this a situation that I should photograph? And the answer has been a resounding no for the better part of 5 months now. What's the point? None of this is paramount. It's all just filling the gaps and pretending like there is meaning in the pointless. I keep hoping that the drive comes back because I'm actually pretty damn good at it. It's probably what I do best. Just sit back, play spectator, make people look pretty. I'm probably just going through something. I mean, I'm obviously going through something, right? Like, that's apparent, isn't it? I struggle with that too. Every goddamn thing is a struggle. It's like there's too much time and not enough simultaneously. Calm, colorless void. Street lights and all the moths melting, glued to the glow into one another. Its knuckles on painted brick, spattered red and gray, and everything is gray. Everything is great. Everyone is drunk and complicit. She doesn't have to pay for her drinks, only for her decisions, and who knows if anyone beautiful ever pays for those either. The room spins and it shrinks as the void grows, and the moths are more close than I will ever get to anyone.
You're in my vlog. You're too fucking close.
Okay, I'll stand where I want, however I want to. And if you put this in your fucking video,
about love and positive affirmation. I'm just not.
Honestly?
Yeah, here. I got love for these individuals. Like, I love them. I'm vlogging, guys.
I got rid of all mine.
I was, here you go.
Did you give it to the guy in the white car?
I have to admit, I took my notes and I just tossed them.
The ones I gave you?
I put them in a car, and then I was like...
No, you didn't.
I did.
Where'd you put them?
I put them in a car, but then I was like...
Where? What car?
I'm not finished. What I was saying is...
There's more.
I put them in a car, and then I was like, this person doesn't deserve my affirmation. I don't know this fucking person.
Those are my affirmations, though.
But if I put them in a car, they become mine.
Where'd you put them?
I tossed them.
Why wouldn't we want to spread more peace and love? Because it starts with you, right?
No, it doesn't, though. It doesn't.
But why wouldn't it?
Because it starts with everybody else.
The world but then why wouldn't you be the one? Exactly.
The
so
world
why
has
wouldn't
enough
you be the one to change it?
We are light workers. The world has enough hate, so we're the ones coming to spread the love, baby. We're the ones.
Do you guys really think that works?
Yes.
Really?
If anything, it's selfish because it works for us.
But you think it works?
I mean, it's a good start.
Just that little bit, if someone was having a bad day, that could brighten someone's day just enough to where they're like...
But what if
I
the
don't feel
person's...
like
okay,
totally
what if the person's day that you're brightening is a fucking asshole?
So then they what? They get an extra star?
They need it the most. If anyone needs it, the assholes need it the most.
No, they don't, though.
They need it
the assholes need a kick in the
Out of
dick.
anybody in the world, the assholes need more love than any of us because they're the way they are for a reason.
What's the reason?
A product of their environment. I don't know.
You think every asshole is just a product of their environment?
Every asshole has a reason to why they were that way.
You don't think
like innocent in everybody.
You don't think that some people are just assholes because they're fucking assholes?
They're assholes because something happened to them.
But why would anyone want to be an asshole? It's because they have hate or resentment.
Okay, well, what about the people that are just like egotists? What about the people that are just elitist and they think they're better than people? Like, what if you take
That's
one of those? Hold on.
Though.
What if you take one of those little affirmations where you're like, you're beautiful, you're awesome, and you put it in the window of someone that already thinks that about themselves?
They should think that about them.
No, they shouldn't.
Why not?
Because we all like. I feel like the world could be humbled if everybody was like, we all suck.
No, we're all destined for greatness.
What is the name of this day of video?
Cigarette butts and UV?
That's for posterity.
The one thing that I'm excited about right now in my existence is this music project I'm doing with my brother. We're calling it Dearest. Basically what it's going to be is live EDM music where we put live drums into it and I perform with a MIDI keyboard and a laptop.
What do you mean, reader right?
We have a few songs now. We want to get 12, 13 done before we start planning shows and pop-up raves and stuff like that. But I just thought I'd tell a funny story for this day of vlog because the way that I've been making music lately has been very different and strange. With Ren, I never go in with like a sound in my head. It's just whatever comes out is what happens, and it's always been that way. I never went into my music with a specific sound in my head, and I'm doing that with Dearest. I know what I want the tracks to sound like. I want them to have that grit, but still be upbeat and peppy, kind of putting in elements of electronic music that I listen to, with the more popular stuff that I might not listen to, and try to find like a happy medium. I've been working on this song the last couple days and something's missing. Like I couldn't figure it out, but something is not there that needs to be. Up until this morning, this is what it sounded like. So this morning I was driving home and I was going to listen to NPR, but it was just classical music and I wasn't really in the mood for that. I'm sick of the same 2 CDs I've had in my car for the last year, I'm like, I'm just gonna see what's on the radio. And that Selena Gomez song came on, Wolves.
I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you.
And all of a sudden in my head, I started playing the vocal over the song that I've been working on, and like thinking like if I just pitch shifted it and moved the beat over so the vocal would be offbeat, that could maybe work. So I came home and I found an a cappella of the song, sliced it up, pitch shifted it up, and I got this.
I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you. To get to you, to get to you, to get to you.
There it is. Huh. There it is. I found the missing piece. It was by total accident, but I found the thing.
I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you. To get to you, get to you. I've never been I put the love in everything, you took too much easy all for you, yeah, all for you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you, yeah, all for you. I'll be down, dark, sunny side, dark side of the moon to get to you, yeah, all for you.
Day 29. That means tomorrow is the last day. You know, when I started this project, I was beat up, worn down, depressed, and unmotivated. And I can proudly say, at day 29, I am still depressed, and worn down, and beat up. But I'm slightly more motivated, and that's a fucking start. Yep. But it's weird motivation because I'm motivated. I'm ready to do stuff. But I don't know what to do. This is an old journal of mine. I kept it at the tail end of 2016 through the very beginning of 2017. I'd really like if there was some insight in this fucking thing. The therapist that I was seeking at the time really wanted me to keep like a intensive dialogue with myself. She said it would be beneficial to me. It was around here that I had a mental breakdown. Then around here I decided that I didn't want to pay for a house anymore. I wanted to live in an RV. And on this day I found an RV, went and bought it, and it exploded on the way home. Later on that night I found out that one of my best friends had committed suicide by jumping in front of a train. And then I just stopped writing in it entirely. It sat in the trunk of my car for the next 9 or 10 months. And then I found it and started using it for scrap paper. Pointless. I've been keeping this one for about 6 months now. And frankly, I'm not sure what good it's done me. There has been no epiphanies reached in this book other than the fact that I am a sad sack and probably a pain to be around.
So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because earlier today I wrote at the coffee shop, and the very first thing I wrote was, I don't like the person I've become. And then when I got home, I was like, I haven't read a page out of this. I've just been writing and writing and writing. And I've realized the very first sentence I wrote in this book on February 18th of this year was, I don't like the person I've become. I made a video a few days ago actually talking about my photography and how I haven't really been doing much of it, and that I was scared that I was falling out of love with it. And someone really stepped up to the plate for me, insisted that we do a photo shoot together. And I got some really good pictures, and I had a good time. And I realized that, man, I actually am pretty damn good at this. It was one of those counting your blessings type of situations. I could suck. I don't suck at what I do. There's a blessing. I should count that. And then there's another blessing on top of that, because I have someone in my life that wants me to pursue my creative endeavors and wants to help me when I get in a dark headspace, which led to numerous other epiphanies. I have a loving and supportive family, for instance. I live in a nice house on the nice side of town. It might be in Iowa, which I have a love and hate relationship with, but it could be worse. It could be Ohio, could be Missouri, it could be Illinois or Mississippi. I could be dumber. Like, my grandmother, before she passed away, her big thing she always said to me was that I was the smartest idiot she'd ever known, or the dumbest intellectual. And it was always loving and endearing. The way she had that like southern charm, even though she wasn't southern, where like she could insult you, but it would almost sound like a compliment. And what she meant by that, I wish I would have asked her, but what I think she meant by that was that I have the capacity to learn things. I retain information, but I make really dumb decisions, just like over and over and over. Even when I was a kid. But that too is a blessing. I could just be outright dumb. And there's no shortage of that in the world. Sometimes I'll just have a conversation with somebody and they'll just say something really fucking stupid. Vaccines cause autism. I think the world might be flat and the government has been lying to us. We never landed on the moon. Or my favorite, I voted for Donald Trump and I'm happy with my decision. You will never catch me saying that vaccine caused autism, because they fucking don't. You won't hear me that the world is flat, because it's fucking not. Or that the moon landing was faked, because it fucking wasn't. And you sure as hell won't hear me say I voted for Donald Trump and I'm proud of my decision, because I didn't. And, I mean, let's be real here. He sucks. Ow, fuck. Ow, god damn it. Ow. Fuck. That's a sharp fucking corner. God damn. I guess all I'm trying to say is that I need to realize that things could be worse. And I usually hate that saying, because it really discredits any kind of pain you might be feeling just because someone else might be feeling it worse. If you break your arm and you go to the hospital and someone has broken both of their arms, yeah, it sucks worse for them, but that doesn't mean it doesn't suck for you still. But I'm beginning to think that maybe it doesn't matter if it's comparative at all. Maybe I'm only comparing myself to myself. And that's a good start. It could be worse for me. And when you can twist that around and say things like, it could be better. And you know what? It could. It could be better. But that could be exciting. That could be a thing to be optimistic about. Like, what if you reach your ceiling? What if you reach your absolute peak and there is nowhere to go from there? You might be happy for a while, but what happens when the happy becomes the normal and there's nowhere to go from there? At least from the bottom, you can still see the stars. Here we are, day 30. I woke up this morning feeling very anxious because I've really sunk myself into this project. Existential dread sets in. Now I don't know what to do with myself. I'm very obsessive, I've noticed. If I don't have something that I'm constantly sinking my teeth into, whether it be women or art projects or whatever, I have to do it all the time. Is that more addictive or obsessive? I don't know. I'm one of those two things, I know that. So I really need something to sink my teeth into now, and I don't know what to do. I thought about doing 30 interviews of people I know over the course of 30 days, but the more I think about it, the more that just sounds impossible to do. Not only that, but then I'm relying on other people for the day, and if someone cancels on me, it throws the whole thing off. So that's probably a no. Then I thought I could write a song every single day. But I'm about to get really busy over the next couple weeks. I have a couple weddings to photograph, a few video projects I have to do. I don't think that that's possible either because I'm just busy. It's that time of year where I just get really busy. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to write something every day. And maybe I'll make a little video to accompany the thing that I made. It's not going to be a whole lot of effort, just maybe a static shot with me reading whatever it was that I wrote. But that seems like something I could do. Maybe I could learn to just be content without doing anything at all. Maybe I could chill for 5 minutes. Nope. I'm kind of sad that this is ending, though, in a weird way. In one way, I'm happy, and I'm satisfied, and I feel accomplished. I'm fairly proud of myself that I saw through it to this point. But on the other hand, it's like putting to bed something that I've nurtured and cared for, and that's always hard. But the important thing is that I accomplished it. Right? Where's the confetti? Give me some of that confetti. Ooh, video effects.